Gurukul Artha Vyavastha, we are using three terms in the title. Gurukul, Artha and Vyavastha. What do we mean by a Gurukul? What do we mean by Artha and what do we mean by Vyavastha? We'll delve a little bit on that and then we will get into, how do we do it? What are the nuances of even thinking about something like this? Gurukula. When we say Gurukula, what are we referring to? I think we should delve into that first. A Gurukula is the word Gurukula is formed by two words, Guru and Kula. Guru, in general terms, we will call that person a shikshak, an acharya, a guru. Though there are differences in all these terms, a teacher, somebody who is. So we'll use these terms interchangeably for this session. So a guru is essentially somebody who is teaching. And a kula is what do you mean by kula? Kula is a tradition. When I belong to a particular lineage, that lineage I call as kula. So when a lineage has been started, a parampara has been started, a tradition has been started by a teacher, and that tradition is owned by a teacher and it goes from generations to generations, that setup we are calling as Guru Kula. Guru's Kula. So that is the first term, Guru Kula. It is not a government school. It is not a private school. It is a parampara. It is a tradition which has been. It is a kula which has been established by a guru, and his teachings, his way of doing things, his drishti is what is getting percolated through and through. Across generations. That is a Gurukula. What is Artha? In Indian philosophy, जो भारतीय दर्शन जिसको हम बोलते हैं, what we call as भारतीय दर्शन or the Indian philosophy, भारतीय philosophy, we have this concept of purusharthas. There are four purusharthas: dharma, artha, kama, moksha. And this is one of the biggest differences between what we call as Bharatiya Jeevan Drishti and what we call as the Paschatya Jeevan Drishti, the Indian philosophy and the Western philosophy. In the Indian philosophy, there are four purusharthas. And Artha is one of the purusharthas. The goal of life as per Indian philosophy is to attain moksha. And the way to moksha is to be able to what we call as Trivarga Purushartha, the three Purusharthas, which are Dharma, Kama and Artha. If we are able to do them properly, moksha is a natural consequence. You don't do anything for moksha, you do things for Dharma, Artha and Kama. So Artha has such a great placement in the Indian philosophy that it is one of the Purusharthas. It is nothing to do with, it is not about hating money. It is about Artha being contextualized as a Purushartha. Now, when we call as Artha Vyavastha, we are calling Artha in the form of Purushartha, where and I'll give you a little definition of these also. Kama means my desires, what I want. And it is a natural thing for anybody to want something, to desire something. So what I want is Kama Purushartha. Now that for it to become a Purushartha, there are things to be done, right? We will not delve into those, but definition wise, Kama is your desire. Any society would desire prosperity and well-being, right? Now these are desires, right? I would want to be prosperous. What I need, I should get, right? What I need, how do I define what I need? There are certain rules, regulations, or certain frameworks within which I should, it should not be unbridled desires, right? But what I desire, I should get. And so I should, if I have a desire for prosperity, I should get it. Prosperity means I have more than what I need. That is prosperity, right? And I should have well-being. I have more than what I need in material form is prosperity. In non-material form, what I need, I get. And I have more than it is called well-being. When we talk about health, when we talk about, the peace of mind, when we talk about our spiritual growth, all these are aspects of well-being, right? So any society desires prosperity and well-being. That is kama. That is kama purushartha. What you desire is kama purushartha. What is artha purushartha? The work you do to achieve these is called artha purushartha. So artha as it is artha is not money in that sense, right? Any effort which is spent to achieve your desires or your wants, right, is called artha purushartha. Both of them needs to be in aligned to dharma. That is how the three are related. Dharma is the framework within which my kama and artha needs to happen. And if these three happen, these three things come together in this way, we will be able to make our progress towards moksha. So Gurukula, Artha. What do I need? The effort I make to get that. That is Artha. And Vyavastha is the system you put up to ensure that all of this is happening. What all of this means? What is happening? The Guru's Kula and the Artha as a Purushartha is happening. The systems you build up for that is called Gurukul Artha Vyavastha. Yes. So when we talk about Gurukul Artha Vyavastha, this is the context we are talking about. Now, when we talk about a Gurukula, we are essentially talking about a place where knowledge is acquired. When we talk about a school or a Gurukula or an institution where this exchange, what exchange is happening? There is knowledge with the Acharya. There is and there is a seeker in the form of a student or an adhyeta or a chhatra or whatever you may want to call that person, right? So there is a person who has the knowledge, there is a person who is seeking the knowledge, the two of them come together and the knowledge exchange happens, right? That system is what is the system of a school, a Vidyalaya, a Gurukula, right? Now the knowledge resides with the Guru, the receiver is the chhatra, the student. Whenever we exchange something, it has to be an even exchange. Aisa that's how we have been taught all through. When we go and buy something, if I buy, for example, if I want to go and buy a laptop, I need to pay for the laptop, right? So somebody has the laptop, I have the desire to have it, I go to the shop, I get it, and I pay for it. Right, and I pay an equivalent amount as the whatever the laptops cost or whatever it is, right? Now that's a exchange which is happening. The person who is giving also is not in loss. The person who is getting is also not in loss. So there is a typical exchange which happens. Now this exchange is understandable when this exchange is happening for physical materialistic entities. You can put a cost to it. You can put you go and buy a mobile phone, you can put a cost to it. There is a material which is being exchanged, right? The raw material came from the nature. Somebody put in an effort to convert it into a mobile phone, and that effort has a cost, and based on that cost, you have to pay for it. All the materialistic things in this world will have a cost to it, and then you exchange, you buy those things. When you need something, you buy those things. When we come to the non-materialistic world, when the exchange is non-materialistic, that's where our confusion starts. Knowledge is not material, right? Knowledge is non-materialistic, and when knowledge gets exchanged, you cannot equate that with money. You cannot equate a non-materialistic exchange with a materialistic exchange. Now that's the fundamental. So if I gave you, if I blessed you, should I ask for money for that? If I loved you, should I ask money for that? If I took care of you, should I ask money for that? Why does it sound so unrealistic, so out of the context when I say, I love you, so give me money. I love you so much, give me more money. I take care of you so much, give me more money. Why does it sound so bad and so so out of context for all of us? Is because what we are giving is non-materialistic, right? It doesn't work at the material level. It is working at a level which is beyond material. right? And so when you exchange material with something beyond material, you are actually pulling down the non-material. You're actually pulling down that love to the level of money. When you equate like that, same is the case with knowledge, right? When I teach you something, when a mother teaches a child how to walk, is there money involved in that? No. Why? Because it is non-material. It is teaching, no? And we always had this concept of rinas in the Indian philosophy, right? Rishi Rina is called the Rina. Rina, there is no equivalent word for Rina in English, though, right? Rina, we loosely translate it to loans, but Rina is not loan. Huh? Rina is not loan. The Rina, we have the debt we have to our gurus. Huh? Uh, has to be paid by passing on that knowledge to the next generation. My mother taught me how to walk. I should teach my child to walk. That is how I get rid of the debt which I have from my mother. I can't return that debt to my mother. Right? Similarly, when knowledge is exchanged, it is not necessarily the knowledge I gained on my own. It is something which has been passed on to me by somebody else. And the way I get indebted from that is by passing on this knowledge to somebody. So the basic fundamental philosophy of based on which this Gurukula Artha Vyavastha, that system has to be built, is by saying that the knowledge transition, the knowledge transfer cannot be equated with money. I will not charge you if I give you knowledge. You will not pay me if you are receiving knowledge. That is the fundamental premise with which the systems need to be built. Now, this may sound very awkward in today's world because knowledge is education is the biggest one of the biggest industries in the world today, right? For getting admission into LKG, we are paying 1.5 lakh rupees. And that's how the system works, right? The teachers who teach in colleges get paid more than the teachers who teach kindergarten. That's the nature of it today, right? That is because we have started equating. If I give you more profound knowledge, I will ask you for more money. Now, that's what a college professor is saying. No, I am giving you more, right? Whereas somebody who is teaching you how to write and how to talk, will be paid less. It's not so profound enough, right? Somebody who's teaching standard 3 will be paid less than somebody who's teaching standard 10th. Right? That is the nature of the Vyavastha, the system today. But if you take a premise of saying that knowledge will not be equated to money, when I transfer knowledge, I will not demand, expect money. When I receive knowledge, I don't have to give money for receiving knowledge. I think that has been the fundamental premise of, we call this Nishulk Shiksha, Artha Nirpeksha Shiksha. Nishulk means free education. Free is also not, I'll come to that. So Nishulk means free education. Artha Nirpeksha means where there is no expectation of an exchange of Artha. Artha in the terms of money. So we call Bharatiya Gurukul Artha Vyavastha as Artha Nirpeksha and a Nishulka. Without any fee and without any expectation of exchange of any material when the knowledge is being transferred. Yes. Do we need money to run institutions? We do need money. Now, if you look at Vidyakshetra as an example, Vidyakshetra is where I come from, right? If you look Vidyakshetra as an example, every day we have lunch prepared for almost 200 to 250 people every day. Do we need money to prepare that lunch? Yeah, we do need money, right? We need money to buy the groceries. The people who are cooking, there are people who are serving. All that stuff is happening. We run the Gurukula at a place which is rented. Do we need to pay rent? Yes, we need to pay rent. There's money required for doing that. There are almost 45 acharyas, teachers at Vidyakshetra. Do we need to take care of them? If they are dedicating whole of their life to teaching, do their families need money to run? Yeah, they do need money. So we are not talking about the need for money. We are not rejecting the need for money. We are essentially saying we will not have money as the part of the knowledge exchange program. When I teach somebody, I will not ask the student for money. When the student learns something, he will not pay money for that learning. That is the fundamental principle. But I do need money, and hence I need to create a system. Hence, I need to create a system to arrange for that money. That arrangement has to be not as a part of the knowledge sharing or the knowledge giving process. Right? It is not a part of the teaching process. It needs to be arranged elsewhere, but then money is required. Yes. So when we say Gurukula Artha Vyavastha, we are talking about creating a setup of Gurukula, of managing the financial operations of a Gurukula being done without asking for fee. That is essentially what we are saying now. Now, how do we set that system up? So this fundamental principle has to be followed. Now, rest of the system has to be built in this framework. Okay. One of the biggest issues today, if you look at it, is education has become a business. What does that mean? The education institutions are being run by businessmen. Hmm? Education institutions are being run by businessmen, right? So anybody who invests in, running an education institution is an investment, right? So anybody who invests looks for returns, huh? And so who runs the institutions today? It is not Gurukulas, right? It is Trustikulas. It is Udyogakulas. It is businessmen who are running these. Or it is government who is, you see a lot of government institutions, it is government who is running it. Now, government is not the guru, right? So the whole concept of who runs it is very, very different. There are also instances where government subsidizes education. The fee in government schools is very, very less. If you go to, say, in America or Europe, you would also see that education is free. Now, that free education is very different from the concept we are talking about, right? The free education, say in America or in the government schools in India, and it's almost free, though there is some nominal charges which are there, it is almost free, right? Happens at what cost? The cost is what is to be taught is defined by the person who is subsidizing. Right? So government defines the curriculum. Government has the board. Government defines the curriculum. Government defines what books to be read. Right? Teachers are employees. So they hire teachers, right? Teachers become employees. And so the ability of, think of a time when Chanakya would have been an employee to Chandragupta, and then how can he advise Chandragupta as to what to be done and what not to be done? How can he change the direction of the nation based on what is required? An employee can never change the direction. An employee working in a company can never change the direction of the company, right? He can only follow orders. Right? So if the government says, SIR is happening, all teachers go for SIR. Election is happening, all teachers go for election duty. Education is happening, teach only these subjects. Exams are happening, this is how you should evaluate students. Who is defining all of this? The boards are, who is running these boards? The government is running these boards. Yes. So there is so this whole freeness which we talk about when it comes to government schools or anywhere in the world, right? It comes at a cost, and they no longer are Gurukulas. They are either Trustikulas or business kulas or government kulas. Right? And a government changes, and they will change the curriculum, and then next government comes, they will change the curriculum. What is the Acharya doing? Acharya is simply transmitting, what is being told to him. So this freeness is not free. Okay, it comes at a cost, and it's a very, very dear cost, right? So when a Gurukula, so how do we set up this system? Should we set up this system in the current form of a government education institution? No, it should not be, right? It needs to be a Gurukula. It needs to be a Guru's Kula, and then the Arth Vyavastha needs to be set up. The Arth Vyavastha needs to be set up in such a way that for the knowledge exchange, money is not being exchanged. Yes. Now this is the premise in which this needs to happen. Right. So, many people come to Vidyakshetra and say, we want to learn what you guys are doing, and, we want to start a Gurukula. So for one of the first questions we ask them is, what will be your role in that Gurukula? No, I have land, and, I have sufficient land, and I'll, once you give me the curriculum, we will hire the teachers, and then we will run the Gurukula. And then we tell them, once you are ready in you becoming a guru and you starting a kula, then you come. Right? You having a land and you have great intentions of changing the society via Gurukula, and then you hire gurus and then you pay them salaries and then they work under you, is not the system we want to set up. Right? Um, okay. So given all this framework, how should we do this now? I don't want to take money from anybody who wants to influence the guru into what should be taught and how it should be taught. Guru should be totally autonomous in what he thinks should be taught. Now, if the guru is teaching something which is not required by the society, society will not send their children to that guru. It is as simple as that. Right? A Gurukula which is not addressing the needs of the society, which is not addressing the what we called as prosperity and well-being of the society, nobody will send their children to that Gurukula. So, who gives sanctity to a Gurukula? The society gives sanctity to a Gurukula. It is not the government who gives sanctity. It is not the businessman who gives sanctity. Society gives sanctity to a Gurukula, right? So, in this framework, when I want to run this, how what were the mechanisms which our learned rishis devised in for running a we have heard about Nalanda, we have heard about Takshashila, we have heard about Sandipani Muni's ashram where Krishna went, we have heard about Vashishta Rishi's ashram where Prabhu Sri Ram went, right? We have heard about all of these, right? Did we ever hear about Dashrath, Dashrath having a department of education and telling all Vashishthas and the Vishwamitras of this world saying what should be taught and how it should be taught? It was never like that. Did we ever hear, we have heard stories, where Dashratha would go to Vashishta's ashram and he will put off his crown and his jewels and, get off his ratha and then walk barefoot. And, this was the stature of the gurus. And the stature of the gurus was like that because they never demanded money from anybody. No government institution, no businessman, no politician, nobody was ever able to influence the Gurukulas and the Gurus. And this power to them came because they never charged. Have you seen recent parent-teachers meetings which happen? Go look at how a parent-teacher meeting happens. Teacher is defending and meekly talking about justifying various things, and the parents are like, "How dare you? How can this happen to my child? How can how can my child be treated like this? You are not giving enough. You are not doing enough." Why is this happening? Because the parents believe they have paid for it. Yeah. Okay. So what should be the setup? What should be the setup now, given all of this? Now that we have understood the philosophy of it, what should be the actual setup which needs to happen? Our Shastras tell us that there are 4 ways by which the financial operations of an institution, of a Gurukula, can be managed. And I'll brief you about all 4 of them, and then we will take questions on this. The first one is called Samittapani. Have you heard about this term, Samittapani? Samittapani is a term which is again formed by 2 words, Samit and Pani. Samitta means Samidha. Samidha is the wood you use for doing a yagna. When you do a yagya, you have the fire, you light up the fire and you use wood for lighting up that fire. That wood is called Samidha. And Pani means hands. Now, it is very metaphorical in nature. When we say Samittapani, we are essentially saying carrying wood in your hands, offering wood with your hands. That is what we are calling as Samittapani. Now, it is metaphorical in a sense that when a child comes for admission in a Gurukula, it is expected that the parents of the child will offer something to the Gurukula at the time of admission. It could be it is an offering from the parent of the child to the Gurukula. It could be at the time, it is definitely at the time of admission, it could be after admissions also. But it is an offering from the parents of the child to the Gurukula. Gurukula will never demand what is to be paid. Gurukula will never expect, if somebody doesn't bring Samittapani, does not mean his child will not get educated. Does not mean his child will not get admission. But it became a social norm to say that when you go to a guru for the first time, you offer something, and you could offer this on a continuous basis also. How do you, and Samittapani is metaphorical in a sense, if you don't have anything, go outside, pluck some branches of a tree and offer them. It is still an offering, and that is why Samittapani. Huh? But the expectation is whatever be your capability and capacity as a parent, right? According to that capability and capacity, you offer to the Gurukula. Yeah. Now, this is very wrongly construed today as admission fee or donations. When you go to a school today, they will say, what, you have to pay 2 lakhs donation, which is a one-time donation, and 1.5 lakh rupee fee. Now, who is paying this? Parents are paying this, right? In Samittapani also parents are paying this. What is the difference? Parents pay based on their capability and capacity. It is a social norm to offer according to your capability, what you can offer. Metaphorically, you can go in and pluck some branches of a tree and offer it to the Gurukula. And this is acceptable. Institutions don't define what you would give. Right? So Samittapani is a legitimate way of running operations of a Gurukula. The parents can come in and offer something. They need not offer, but they can offer. Yes, that is number one. The second is called Dakshina. I would request people to go on mute and not unmute unless they want to talk something. The second is called Dakshina. What is Dakshina? Dakshina is paid by the student. Heard about Guru Dakshina? You heard about Dronacharya asking Eklavya's thumb in Dakshina? So we have heard Dakshina, right? Who pays Dakshina? Parents don't pay Dakshina. Who pays Dakshina? Dakshina is paid by the student. So when the student graduates from whatever whatever school or institution he was in, when he crosses that line of going beyond the institution, going into the society, he starts earning. His contribution back to the Gurukula is called Dakshina, right? Now this Dakshina, it is not necessary that the child will start earning as soon as the child goes out of the institution, right? So there may be time before he could pay back as anything to the institution as Dakshina, but it is to be paid by the student. Again, Dakshina is not, unlike Dronacharya. What Dronacharya did was not correct, because he demanded what he needs in Dakshina. Right? No guru in a Gurukula would ever demand what he needs in Dakshina. The child, based on his capability and capacity, is going to offer, as a gratitude. He will offer whatever he could back to the institution. Right? So that is Dakshina. Now, in both these cases, one, parent is paying, second, child is paying. It is expected that they would offer something. What they would offer is not known. Right? When a child comes for admission or when a child graduates, what they could offer based on what they are earning or what their capability is, it is not known when it will come and how much will come. Right? But if I have to cook for 250 people today afternoon, I can't just depend on these two elements. Where day-to-day things have to happen, right? Rent has to go every month for the place we are running the institution in. Lunch have to be cooked every day. So I cannot be depending on Samittapani and Dakshina for catering to all my needs of running an institution. The third method which has been told is called Dana. We roughly translate this to donation, but it has more nuances than, like every word has more nuances. Dana also has more nuances. Who pays Dana? Who gives Dana? Society gives Dana. Parents give Samittapani. The student gives Dakshina. The society gives Dana. Have you heard this in Indian philosophy? Whatever you earn, you should save 10%, give 10% in Dana, and then spend the remaining amount maybe. So that 10% in Dana, who should give? The people in the society should give. To whom should they give? They should give to institutions like Gurukulas, right? Who are not exchanging any material element, who are exchanging knowledge for the prosperity and well-being of the society. It is society's responsibility to ensure that Gurukulas run. Right? And so the society has to pay, not pay, it has to give, it has to offer, it has to give dana. So temples and gurukulas, in temples also we go and give dana, right? We give dana because the temples are there for the well-being of the society, right? The temple operations need to run on dana. Similarly, the temple of knowledge, the Gurukula, needs to run on dana, which is given by the society. So, who would teach the society that dan has to be given? Gurukula will only go and teach, है ना? And then the society should give dana. One problem with dana is that I don't know when dana will come. Huh? It may come today. I also don't know how much should the dana be? It could be 1 rupee also, it could be 1 lakh rupee also. Who decides how much they can give? The person who is giving dana will decide. Based on his shraddha, he will decide how much he would want to give, right? So it is a legitimate way. It is a defined way. It is an allowed way of getting artha from the society. The issue is I don't know when and how much. Like Samitapani and Dakshina, dana also I don't know when and how much. Yes, but it is a way of receiving something for running the financial operations of the institution. The fourth way which has been prescribed, and this is the way every institution used to run in India, is called bhiksha. What is the difference between bhiksha and dana? We roughly translate both of them to donations. They are not. Bhiksha is when you go to the society, and so whom are you asking bhiksha from? You're asking from the society. Who is asking this? The institution is. Who in the institution? The acharyas and the students are going to the society and asking for bhiksha, right? I'll tell you the mechanism of that bhiksha also. But institution and the people associated with the institution are going and asking for bhiksha, right? That I can do every day. Because I have to go and do it. No. So that I can do every day. If I do it every day, I can potentially run the operations. So if I need more, I will go and ask for more. If I need less, I'll go and ask for less. But whom should I go and ask for? I'm not going and asking from the student. I'm not going and asking from the parents of that student. I'm going and asking from the society. Right? I'm going and asking from the society. So that is what we are calling as bhiksha. Bhiksha has been, you've heard these in our stories of the past, right? You've heard this, people used to go and ask for bhiksha. So whether you are a Krishna or a Rama or a Balarama or you are Sudama, you will go and ask for bhiksha. And it's a part of the learning, it's a part of the education, it's a part of running the operations of a Gurukula. So bhiksha is a legitimate way. Bhiksha is not equal to bhik. Asking for alms, begging is not bhiksha. Begging, what is the difference between begging and bhiksha? Begging you do when you ask money for yourself because you are not able to sustain your life, you are not able to earn enough, you are in such a situation that, somebody will have to support you, right? And that support you are requesting in the form of begging. When an institution has to run, the institution is not, the people are not asking money for themselves. People are asking money for the institution. People are asking money because the society's prosperity and well-being has to be maintained. The next generation, which is going to come out and become the society, is being nurtured in that nursery. Is being nurtured in that institution. So hence, when you ask for such, the society gets benefited out of Gurukula, and so it is the right of the Gurukula to go and ask for bhiksha. It is the responsibility of the society to give bhiksha. And you will be amazed, sometimes we feel that, how do I, when I went to going and asking for bhiksha, everybody has a first time, right? I also had a first time, when I went and asked for bhiksha, it was very disturbing for me. Why? Because you always felt that you have the capability to give. You don't need to ask. And now you're asking. Now you're knocking a door and you're saying Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi. And the person who comes out may actually shut his door on you. The person who comes out may start questioning you. Arey, your clothes are not torn, your hair are not unruly, you seem to be coming from a good family. Why are you asking for bhiksha? You should go do some work. Those questions will come. right? Now, how do you counter those questions? So all this is something which, a mindset change needs to happen, right? The people who work for the well-being of the society should not ask for money for the well-being. Well-being is non-material. Prosperity is material. Society had two goals. When we started this session, we had said society has two goals: well-being and prosperity. Prosperity is material. Well-being is non-material. When you are working for the well-being of the society, money cannot be exchanged. When you are working for the prosperity of the society, there is exchange of money which is happening. Okay. So people who are working for well-being, it is their right to go and ask for bhiksha from whom? From people who are working for the prosperity. Yes. So if Bharat mein hamesha, we always used to say in Bharat, अन्न औषधि और विद्या कभी बेचे नहीं जाते हैं. Medicine, and I am specifically talking about medicine and knowledge, should never be sold. Today they are the biggest verticals of this world. Pharma industry and the education industry are the biggest businesses of this world. That is where everything has gone wrong. This Vyavastha of Samittapani, Bhiksha, Dan, Dakshina has gone out of the window, and it has become like a business that I offer you something and you have to pay me for that. Right? That has caused the downfall of so many things. We have mixed the well-being, the Artha, the effort I have to do for well-being is not the same as the effort I have to do for prosperity, right? And hence that Artha, the prosperity is Artha Sapeksh, the well-being is Artha Nirpeksh. That's how we have to understand. And the design of the society has to be in such a way that both these elements need to exist. There has to be a set of people who, Ravindra Sharma Guruji used to call them Bhikshavrittis. Bhikshavrittis are people who are working for the well-being of the society and are not engaged in earning money, right? And then there are people who are working for the prosperity of the society and they are engaged in earning money. And people who are working for the prosperity takes care of the people who are working for the well-being. And this whole framework of Samittapani, Dana, Dakshina, and Bhiksha is in that framework. So no institution would ever be poor. No educational institution would ever be poor because these four mechanisms were very prevalent in the society. Today, what has happened is we have forgotten all of these four elements, and we are only concerned about the fee payment which we have to do. Right? So tomorrow, when somebody comes to your doors asking for bhiksha for an institution, which is a Gurukula, when a Vidyakshetra associate comes and asks for bhiksha, be aware that what is being attempted is to revive this whole Artha Vyavastha of a Gurukula. Right? It is not, today if Vidyakshetra wants to charge 2 lakh, 3 lakh rupees per student, there is no reason why we cannot charge, right? But that is against the principle of running a Gurukula, right? And so Bhiksha becomes a very, very important aspect along with Samittapani, Dan and Dakshina for running the operations of an institution. Anybody who is associated, we are having an exchange here, right? Am I charging you for that? I cannot. I should not, right? Because that is the principle. Should you pay me for this? No, you should not. Because just because you have received something, less or more, doesn't matter. But should you pay me for that? No, you should not. But how could you show your gratitude to an institution? And I'm not talking about this session. In general, I'm talking about it. How do you show your gratitude when you got associated? Go talk about it to people. Go talk about it in the society. Seek support from the society. Seek bhiksha from the society for that institution. That is how things need to work. Right? For this exchange, for any exchange like this, neither should I expect a payment nor should you give a payment. But for any exchange like this, if you want to offer something, the offering has to be in terms of either dana or bhiksha, which is coming from the society. Yes. So these are the ways by which this can happen. If you look at in Vidyakshetra, there is a concept of Samittapani which we have implemented. So we are running for almost 11 years now. This is our 11th year in running. We haven't charged any fee from the last 11 years, and we haven't closed down as an institution because of lack of money. Even in COVID, when many big institutions closed down, Vidyakshetra never closed. Huh? Uh, because of the way things have been set up, right? Um, uh, we are getting admission. We are not an institution which have been set up for the poor. People who can't pay should come to Vidyakshetra. No, that is not the point. People who want to learn should come to Vidyakshetra. Payment is irrespective, because once you detach money from education, then your filtering criteria, I have seen filling forms where you say, what is parents' income, annual income? Based on that, they'll decide whether to give admission to the child or not, right? So when you disassociate, so parents can offer whatever they can offer. Samittapani, huh? Uh, Dana, we have been going to, this is a part of whatever we are doing now is a part of public discourse, right? You want to go out in the public and talk about this, and people who feel aligned to it can actually come in and give dana to the institution, right? It is a part of the duties of a Gurukula to actually educate not only the children of the Gurukula, but the society in general, right? So it's a part of that. Dakshina has not yet started in Vidyakshetra because we are at a stage where children of Vidyakshetra have not yet started earning. Right? When they earn, Dakshina would also happen. Not because we are asking for Dakshina, but because the child should have the gratitude. Who should educate the child to have that gratitude? Gurukula only should educate the child. Right? Right? And then we go for Bhiksha. We have institutionalized Bhiksha as a program within Vidyakshetra. For the first 7-8 years, the people who were in charge of running the operations used to go out and ask for Bhiksha. Right, the founders used to go and ask for Bhiksha. By the way, all founders are teachers, right? Like I told you, there's no founder who is a non-teacher. Nobody can come into Vidyakshetra and not teach. Huh? So everybody has to teach, right? A teacher, it has to be a Gurukula, right? We used to go, the management team used to go for asking for Bhiksha. 3 years back, we started this Bhiksha program where we said everybody associated with Vidyakshetra can go in and ask for Bhiksha. What does that mean? Who is that everybody associated with, the parents? So we are not saying parents, you give me money. We are asking parents to go out and reach out to your connects, your known people, your localities, right? And talk about such an institution, talk about such a concept of education, and seek support. Seek support not for yourself, seek support for the institution, seek support for the system, right, of running. So it is not only about Vidyakshetra. If there are more Vidyakshetra like institutions coming in, we should go seek support for all of them, right? So that has been institutionalized. We run a 21-day Bhiksha Sadhana program every year. It is actually currently going on from 19th of July to 9th of August. A Bhiksha Sadhana program is running. What do we do in this Bhiksha Sadhana program? So it is almost 21 days. It is about 21 days. And we say for 21 days, each family, whether you are a teacher or a parent, each family has to reach out to another family in the society. Each one reach one every day. That is how we are saying. So which means each family has to reach to 21 families in 21 days at a minimum, and seek Bhiksha. And seek Bhiksha for not for themselves, seek Bhiksha for the institution, right? And so everybody is engaged. Last year we had received almost 1,543 Bhikshas from the society. This year we are almost 10 days over. We have received almost 980 bhikshas till date. There are another 9 days to go. So this program runs. The whole idea is that we collect enough so that for the rest of the year we don't have to worry about the monetary part of it. We can focus on the education part of it. Yes. So I would encourage all the people who are a part of this session, to orient themselves to supporting such institutions, asking for Bhiksha for such institutions. Bhiksha is not a bad word. Bhiksha is, people who are in their spiritual journey are the people who ask for Bhikshas. Sannyasis ask for Bhikshas, right? The Bhiksha is the one which actually fast tracks their spiritual journey. And the bigger the sannyasi, the stricter the Bhiksha rules for them. right? For the acharyas, for the institutions, it is a lot more relaxed though, right? But Bhiksha is a way to be able to do that. So with that, I will take a pause. And take questions. Bhiksha is and so I keep harping on Bhiksha because Bhiksha is the only way you can actually run the operations. There are three other ways of doing it, but Bhiksha, by the way, Bhiksha is not there only for running the such is the great mind and intellect of our rishis that they designed this whole concept of bhiksha, which is not only for running the operations of the institution, it has multiple other benefits. Benefit number one is the operations. And I'm not giving in priority order, but I'm just saying that is one benefit. The second benefit is when you go in and talk in the society. Today our understanding of the society is based on social media. We don't know who our neighbor is, but we know all the social media handles which are, talking all the time on social media, right? Our association with the society has actually broken down drastically. Bhiksha is a way of getting associated with this. What is the society thinking? you know I was amazed. People who are ready to give bhiksha are the people who have the least capability and the capacity to give bhiksha actually. When you go out and ask for bhiksha, people with small houses, people in the huts, vegetable vendors will call you and say, "Arey, you didn't take bhiksha from me." And the bigger the house, you ring the bell. Who allowed you inside? Where is the security? How can people come inside? My privacy is getting violated. All that stuff will happen. You will suddenly realize how the more we have become educated, the more we have become prosperous, how far we have come out from our roots. Who should realize this? The acharyas should realize this, the institution should realize this, the students should realize this, and they should do something about it, right? So getting to know what's happening in the society, Bhiksha is a great way of public communication program, right? Our children, why are our children so fascinated about going to America and settling there? Why is there such a great fascination? Why are we not thinking about doing something about the society we are living in? Why are we not thinking about doing something? If something is not so good in the society, we should fix that. Who should fix that? We should fix that, right? It is because our association with the society has, our institutions, today's educational institutions are in no way associating people with the society and the problems of the society. We always blame the government and we blame the, government agencies or the bureaucracy, and we want to get out of the system. Now that is no way of running a country, right? Bhiksha is a great way of getting that understanding. Second benefit. Third benefit, like I told you, fast tracking your own spiritual journey. We are very big people in our own minds. I've heard somewhere, this universe is so vast. In that universe, there is a Milky Way galaxy. In that galaxy, there is a solar system of ours. And in that, there is one of the planets, which is not the biggest, which is the Earth. And in that Earth, there is this India. And in that India, there is this Bangalore. And in that Bangalore, there is this locality where I'm living in. I'm not even a speck of dust in the context, right? But in my mind, I am the biggest person alive today. My problems are the biggest problems, right? And so this context of who am I, right? When I ask for bhiksha, my first realization was that, I became a nobody. I became a nobody when I asked for bhiksha, right? And this becoming a nobody is the starting point of becoming somebody actually, right? And I think if any of you are interested in undertaking a spiritual journey, right, I think bhiksha is unparalleled, right? And so that is another benefit of what a bhiksha can do. And obviously it is also a way of educating the society. You can educate the children, but how do you fix the current situations in the society? You have to educate. How do you go out and educate? What is the forum in which you will go out and educate the society? Bhiksha is the forum. So when you go and ask for bhiksha, you talk to people, you give them perspectives of life, you give them perspectives of systems, you give them perspectives of how and what direction the country, the society, the families, the individuals are going. and what needs to be done. What sort of an education should children receive? Now, all these things are education. So this is a forum for educating the society as well. Now, all these things are benefits of Bhiksha. By the way, financial operations of the institution is also a benefit, right? Uh, and so this is Gurukula Artha Vyavastha. This is Gurukula Artha Vyavastha. It may sound very alien to some of us, but I think it only means that we will need to study a little more. We will need to do adhyana a little more. We will need to understand how profound these systems are. Huh? Today we have killed the entire, you know, I remember when I graduated or when I did my 10th standard, right? People who are very intelligent will go to science stream. People who can't afford to, they don't have that intellect, will go to commerce. People who are the dumbest of all the people will go to arts. ऐसा होता था. हाँ? Why is this happening? Because the science students are going to get larger salaries. So teachers who are teaching science will get paid more. IITs and the institutions who are teaching science and technology will charge more. All that stuff. So this has become a business, and it is a business not for the prosperity and well-being of the society. It is for the individual gains which people are starting these institutions. We have to reclaim it back. All of us need to become a part of it. Bhiksha as a mechanism, Samittapani, Dana, Dakshina, Bhiksha, and specifically Bhiksha as a mechanism has to be reestablished in the society. Who will reestablish that? You and me have to do it. Right? Yeah, so that's where I'll take a pause. We have, I think, 10 more minutes. I can take questions. You can raise your hand and then ask a question. Ji, Sandhya ji.
Namaste, Manuji. I think one of the things that you said early on in this session was that the society or the parents could decide if the Gurukula was meeting the needs of the society, and then accordingly decide to send the child or the ward to the
Correct.
Gurukula or not. Now, when we do Bhiksha, then can the society demand accountability in the sense of what did you do with my Bhiksha? Is that justified? Can that happen? Especially when they want to do it the next time, like I gave it to you this year or whatever. Now, next time when you come back to me for Bhiksha.
See, I understand where you are coming from, right? When I give money to some, today there are so many people who are just siphoning off money in the name of such things, right? So it is very natural for us to think that, is the money going at the right place? Now, how should society engage? That is how we have to look at it, right? The society should engage by either sending their children or, go visit Gurukula, go see what things are happening. This society is, what is the narrative our rishis have built up? When you give dana, are you giving dana because that guy needed it? Or are you giving dana because you had to earn punya? Right? When you are doing this for this is punya, this is earning punya for yourself. Right? When you earn punya for yourself, daan dene ke baad bhul jana hai. That is how the whole narrative was sort of built, right? But I understand today's world is not like that, and specifically with social media, so many fake things happen. You don't even know where to go and what to do, and at Vidyakshetra, I'll tell you in the context of Vidyakshetra, right? We believe that we would want to reach out to people and tell them, next year when I go, so this year when I'm going for Bhiksha, asking for Bhiksha from somebody whom I asked last year, I'm also telling them what progress Gurukula has made in the last 1 year. I am not justifying to them saying, oh, you gave me 1,000 rupees. This 1,000 rupees was utilized in doing this things. No. Because of support like yours, Gurukula has been able to do these things. Gurukula has been able to start off these new initiatives. Gurukula has been able to sustain some of the existing initiatives, right? Now, this is a part of the education which the Gurukula should give as a part of Bhiksha. Absolutely, yes. But it is very different from corporates releasing their annual reports uh, and saying this is what has happened, right? It is very, very different. The mechanism is very different. The bhava is also very different, right? Uh, so society needs to engage, and if the society is disengaged, it is the responsibility of the Gurukula to ensure that that engagement happens. It is the part of the charter of a Gurukula. It is not only next generation; it is this generation also, right? So should we tell what has happened? Yeah, absolutely, we should tell. In Vidyakshetra, we do two things, right? One, the entire financials are very open to all the parents. Okay, how much did we get? What did we spend on? How much is our budget for the year? All that stuff is very, very transparent to all the parents. And when we go out for asking for bhiksha, these are some of the things which we tell, but we don't release this as a as an annual report to say, this sector, this much profit, this much, all that stuff doesn't happen. But it should happen. Society should know that the money is being utilized. The society should know that it is being utilized for the right purpose. And who should find that mechanism of telling the society? Gurukulas should do that. Absolutely, yes. Yeah. But when you are giving dana, it should not be, should I demand, what did you do with my money? I don't think that should be the bhava of giving bhiksha or giving dana. Right? The bhava of giving bhiksha and giving dana is to earn punya for yourself. Right? It is the duty of the Gurukula to be able to come back and educate the society that this is how things are functioning. Right? Yes. Harish ji.
नमस्ते अना।
Namaste.
जैसा आपने कहा कि for समृद्ध पानी और भिक्षा और दाना, you should give it as per your capabilities or capacities. So is desire also a matter for giving all these things?
Explain me that. Desire माने किसका desire? Whose
जो
desire?
भाई जो डोनर है बेसिकली, या जो
हाँ,
देने वाला है, उसका इच्छा कितना है उसका देने के लिए? This is also a
absolutely.
material.
Absolutely. See, when I go in for, what is in my control is how many places I can go for bhiksha. But when I go to one place for bhiksha, what will be given will be depending on that person's alignment, shraddha, understanding, all that stuff. Right? There are many people who would tell you that, I'm already supporting some other institution to the best of my capability. I may not be, which is okay.
Correct.
Right? There may be people who will come in and, start questioning you also. There may be people who will say, this year it cannot happen, next year it'll, all that stuff is fine. Right? But what is in your control is, if it does not meet what you are looking out for, go for more. Go for more people.
Okay.
And your ability to tell people why this is important is also very important. Right? It is not about, you just say Bhavati Bhiksham Dehi and somebody gives you something. When we run Bhiksha Sadhana here, right, one of the things which we tell parents and teachers is, if somebody says, I'll give you Bhiksha without listening to you, don't take that Bhiksha. Because the purpose is not Bhiksha alone. The purpose is education. Right? The purpose is telling, purpose is talking, right? So you have to talk. There are people, Vidyakshetra, so many people have come in, I have land, you run, so we want to have our land and we want to have our place, right? So many people have come in and said, oh, we have the land, you come in and run it here. हमें किसी के land, it is not about money, it is not about resources, right? It is about, tomorrow will you ask me to vacate that land also? Tomorrow, will you come and tell me, oh, because it is my land, you should do it this way? Will you interfere in the operations? If there is iota of doubt like that, I don't need that bhiksha. I don't need that dana. Okay. You want to be a part of the management team and, pay me 10 crores? I don't need that 10 crores. I'm not after money anyways. Right? So education is a part of the whole thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Ji, Sudhir ji.
प्रणाम।
नमस्ते।
3-4 चीजें मन में है, अभी मालूम नहीं मैं कैसे उसको रख पाऊंगा। एक तो ये कि आपने अभी कहा कि 11 वर्ष से आप विद्या क्षेत्र का कार्यक्रम इस प्रकार से चला रहे हैं जैसे व्यवस्था की हमने बात की है, तो इसी प्रकार से कार्य करने की इच्छा रखने वाले कुछ लोग या अपने चल रहे कार्यक्रम को इस प्रकार से चलाने के लिए, कन्वर्ट करने के लिए चाहने वाले लोगों को आप सपोर्ट करते हैं, गाइड करते हैं क्या? इससे कोई सिस्टम अपने इसमें है क्या? ये एक बात जानना थी। और एक दो चीजें मन में रखूं भी, ये बात में एक एक करके?
नहीं, एक ही पूछते हैं, क्योंकि बहुत सारे हाथ दिखाई दे रहे हैं मेरे को, समय भी मैं देख रहा हूँ। तो हाँ, so how should institutions run? If I want to start an institution like Vidyakshetra, is there a mechanism or a support system to understand how things run and what happens, right? Yes, there is. There is a program called Acharya Vidyalaya. This program has been launched last year. There are almost 57 participants in that program across the country. The whole idea is that they want to understand how Vidyakshetra is running and potentially go back to their place and start a similar effort. Right? We are already seeing 6 to 7 of them fructifying in next year or two. Okay. Now these are not franchisees. These are their own Gurukulas. These are again this effort so this is almost a 5-year program. 3+2 year program. What is the charge of that program? We just spoke about it. There is no charge to the program, because it is a knowledge transfer, right? And the expectation is that the institutions which get opened up will also not charge, right? And that is one of the fundamental things you need to agree to become a part of this program. If you don't agree to that part, by all means go open a school differently, right? So 3 years of Adhyana, 1 year of setting up with our support, and the 5th year of running it with minimal support, and then you just run on your own. Right, that is how this program has been set up. It is in online offline mode. 6 weeks in a year you will need to 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2 weeks in 3 batches you have to come in and stay at Vidyakshetra, because you will need to learn about the other nuances of running it's not just the financial part, but other nuances of running a Gurukula. You want to run, you can come in here. So there is a program like that. So if anybody wants to become can we enroll unlimited number of people? That is a problem. We are limited by our own capacity of how much we can handle. But there is a program like that, and we can have another session sometime to go into details of that program maybe. Ji, Ashwini ji.
Namaste, Anna. So people will be ready to give us Bhiksha when they trust us and when they understand what we are doing, which will take some time, right?
Okay.
To make them understand what we are doing. So how do we manage the running the operations until we build that trust?
We will, so when I start a Gurukula, for example, right, these things are more questions when I'm starting a Gurukula. Because I'm starting and then nobody knows me, and then how will I run run my Gurukula, right? Once people know me, then there is trust established, and then there all these things will happen. For running a Gurukula, how much operational expense do you need is a question, right? So do you need a place to run a Gurukula? No, you can run it in your home also. Do you need 100 children to start off with? No, you can start with 3 also. Right? Now, how much do I start with will depend on how much I am able to chew today. Right? You have seen the image of Gurukula has always been, somebody sitting under a tree and teaching, कितना लगता है पेड़ के नीचे बैठने के लिए कितना पैसा लगता है you don't require much for sitting under a tree and giving. So start small. We always tell, land is not the first thing you start off with. Big infrastructure is not the first thing you start off with, right? You start off with your own mindset. You start off with starting to communicate. Vidyakshetra 11 years back started with 13 students. Today also we are only 173 students, by the way. Okay, and every year we take in only 16, 17 students. Out of those, many are siblings only. So because we have told both the children, if we have 2 children, both children should study in the same institution. Sibling. So 12, 15, 12, 13 students we are taking every year, right? This is a very small increment to the operational cost per se, right? If you were to maintain the status quo of your operations, today if I want to construct a new classroom, obviously I need more money than just running that. So take it gradually, right? There is no hurry. Okay, because there is hurry when you have financial goals. जब आप एक startup का planning करते हैं ना, then you say, when will you break even? When will this profit start happening? What is in 10 years, what would be my revenues and what will be my profits and what will be my EBITDA and what all that stuff we will talk about. Here, what is the hurry here? right? And it is my own journey also, right? Obviously, I cannot offer anything to children which I don't have. Huh? So, so if I have to offer something to children, I need to have that. So if I have to offer knowledge, my level of knowledge should be higher, and that requires adhyana. And if I am not a person who has been doing adhyana, then that has to start. Forget about starting Gurukula. Your adhyana has to start, right? And the 3 years, 4 years, you should do adhyana only before you even think about, what are you going to set up? And this is a 360, I should not call it 180-degree shift from what we have been educated with, what we have been brought up with, right? And so much of unlearning needs to happen before we even want to get into Gurukulas. What we can start with though is getting associated with some Gurukulas and starting to support, starting to understand, starting your own adhyana. Gurukula need not start tomorrow. Start doing study circles, start making that, that investment of your life, initial periods has to start happening. Then only Gurukula will happen. Unless a guru establishes trust, Gurukula cannot establish trust. Yeah. So that's how I sort of see it.
Dhanyawad.
Ji, Neetu ji.
Namaste, Anna. Thank you for the session. Gave a lot of clarity on how a Gurukul Artha Vyavastha should be. So my question is, let's say we have a dedicated few days for Bhiksha, and during that time in the year only is when we seek Bhiksha from the Samaja. Now we have certain budget for the year because we know for a full running Gurukul that these many Chatras are there and we have this budget. But what if the Bhiksha amount falls short of our yearly budget?
Which
Then how do
always,
we manage the
it always
finances?
falls short. It
I
always
hope
falls
it
short.
doesn't happen and Samaj should take care of full thing. That's my wish. But if it happens, then how do we manage?
No, see, the reason for running it for a defined duration is that all the parents, all the teachers are focused not only on Bhiksha for the entire year. It is humanly not possible, right? So when we have a defined duration, we could actually dedicate that duration for all my energies to get into this direction, right? That is what helps a defined duration, right? I know some institutions like Punaruthan Vidyapith, whom we are associated with, they run it for a month, right? They run it for a month. So duration is irrespective, but there is a starting time and an ending time where we are saying you have to dedicatedly do this. After that, you don't have to dedicatedly do this, but can I go and ask for the entire year? Absolutely, yes. Right? But there is a much more closer tracking of it as a program and, how things are happening and all that stuff, right? So it gets defined as a program for a smaller duration. It gives us that focus for that smaller duration. I told you, people in Vidyakshetra, people in the management team used to go out for Bhiksha from day one, right? That's what, they'll continue to do that. Whatever is remaining, they'll continue to do that. For parents also, we say, Bhiksha never stops, right? But so we will share these details with everybody. How much Bhiksha did we get in these 21 days? If we are falling short, we are falling short. We will not run a program, but all parents are free and all teachers, and it is the responsibility currently in current system. It is the responsibility of the management team to see how the gap can be filled. If gap cannot be filled, then we don't run some of those things which we thought we would run. We can always scale up and scale down based on how much we got.
Got it. Thank you, Anna.
Yes. Ji, Aparna ji, I think that's the last one.
Namaste, Anna. So my question is about acceptance. जैसे अभी सोसाइटी में there are a lot of people who do this. They're it's not about only education. अभी
राम मंदिर तो पूरा ऐसे ही बना है.
हाँ जी.
राम मंदिर got constructed like this only, right?
Yeah, but then people see it as only a bigger cause and then they come forward.
Correct.
A smaller cause, जैसे अभी मैं गुरुकुल 3-4 लोगों का खोल रही हूँ ना, तो I want to give free medical service. The intent of the person is always underestimated. And because the society is also been in such a way that अगर हम भिक्षा के लिए जाए, जैसा आपने बोला था, they see you like, oh, हम लोग लूटने ही आए हैं. They are not going to do anything out of it, and I cannot trace them back, or I will not be able to question them back. So ऐसे समय में how this whole thing is sustainable and how it goes forward. अभी गवर्नमेंट को बगल में रख के अगर हॉस्पिटल्स भी देखे जाए तो they want to, those who don't have money go there, but those who are like I can afford, let me go to a private, because they think that a private institution gives a better thing, whereas दोनों जगह में इलाज ही मिलता है. So how is this to be addressed?
See, one is your own conviction in this, right? And I think the conviction needs to be translated into your conversation, right? people would believe more in your conviction and your conversation than a simple number of saying, oh, I'm running a Gurukula with 3 children. That is not the point. Whether you are running it with 3 or 30, that is not the point. The bhiksha has to be given for the concept. The bhiksha has to be given for, and are we able to translate that concept to them? Right, to the people. Now, first of all, my needs are also limited. I don't want to live a lavish, an acharya living a lavish life and then doesn't work. The acharya needs to live well, right? The institution needs to sustain well, but it cannot be lavish, right? And so the conviction which we have and the understanding of why such an institution with such a mechanism needs to be established, right, needs to be conveyed. It is public education forum. That's why I call Bhiksha as a public education forum, right? We should run it as a public education forum. Unless we educate people, people will not know, right? So our effort as we start why should people send, have you heard this before? That anything which is free is not valued? So, people might also say, if you don't charge me, then you can close the Gurukul tomorrow. What is your obligation to me? You can close the Gurukul tomorrow and go off. Where will I go? Where will my child go? All these things are issues, right? If you have charged me, I can take it to court also. That you charged me money and then you didn't deliver the, what you promised. But if you don't charge me, what will I do with you? Right? All these are questions. Right? And today's world has become so materialistic, and that these questions need to be answered. So your adhyana, that's why I always feel adhyana is very, very important for an acharya. How the system needs to work and be set up, and with what conviction. What is your conviction? My conviction reflects in what I'm saying, right? And that conviction gets transferred to the person in front. It is so possible it is not getting transferred. Have empathy for that guy. Maybe someday he'll turn around. I will not stop, right? And I'll keep going to people. So this whole thing, I think, is based on how much adhyana you have done, how much conviction you have got, and so becoming an acharya is, हमारे समाज में श्रेष्ठ विद्यार्थी ही आचार्य बनते थे. The best students used to become acharyas. Today, who becomes acharyas? People who don't get job anywhere. As a stopgap, they become teachers today. वो teachers क्या? What conviction will they take to the society? Nothing. Right? Good for nothing. People are becoming teachers today. Right? That has to change. If you were one of the best, then you are qualified to become an acharya. राइट? तो ऐसा माइंडसेट हमारा भी होना चाहिए. तो अगर आज हम आचार्य बनना चाहते हैं, हाउ डू आई गेट टू दैट लेवल इज अ मैटर ऑफ अध्ययना फॉर मी. विदाउट डूइंग अध्ययना, इट इज वेरी, जस्ट हैविंग एन इंटेंशन डज नॉट ट्रांसलेट इनटू सक्सेस. Right? What is my pre-preparation towards the sankalpa which I am taking? I think that is very important, and your sankalpa will reflect. Your conviction will reflect when you talk to people. Yeah. Okay, one more hand went up. I'm 7:50 हो गया है. We'll close with this question, huh? Vijaya ji.
Namaste, Manuji. It was such an enlightening session, and most part of it was very unbelievable for me as to how Vidyakshetra has been sustaining with all these means of attaining the Artha by which you are running the institute. That said, it's very hard for me to believe something of this sort happening in the cities where we live in, because you have gated communities wherein if you're inside the community, then you may be able to speak to some people, but if you're coming from outside, you will not be allowed inside, perhaps because there is no trust.
Yeah.
I think that's the underlying pain. It's paining. As I'm delighted to hear what you're saying, on one hand, I'm really pained by the fact that maybe this is not possible in all the parts of the country today, and we'll have to do a lot of hard work and a lot more things. There is.
हम कोई आसान काम करने के लिए पैदा थोड़ी हुए हैं.
बिल्कुल नहीं. But like you said, that the conviction has to show. Today, there is a sales and a marketing in everything that people do. With AI, it has become even more easier to sell anything. And everybody is using a very beautifully coded language to, you look at school brochures, the way they publicize, and it's very attractive. And you would go like bees to them. Now your kids will get a very, world-class education there with world-class value systems and all that, but andar wo sab shallow hai. But they have caught the eye with that level of sales and marketing. At Vidyakshetra, what I am understanding is the acharyas go, the students go, and the parents go. Now, all of these people are truly invested in what they're doing.
Correct.
And what I understand, I'm a yoga acharya myself. I am an engineer also. Whenever I've immersed myself into something, I do not put my energies into selling it. That's a divide that happens. When you go vertically, you cannot live at the surface level. So it becomes even more difficult to engage with somebody who's not at the level that we have touched. And the first, I am wondering how it would have been for you in your first Bhiksha, walk around the place that you went to, wherein
I
it
tell
would be
you,
so
tell you,
hard to,
we are
yeah.
set up in a village. Okay, in Bangalore, outskirts of Bangalore, there is a village called Margondanna Halli. Okay,
Gee, gee.
which is where we are set up. Okay, out of 173, only one student comes from that village.
Mm.
Nobody wants to send, oh, it is Gurukula. No, no, no. I want to send them to a convent school. I'll earn for it. I'll burn myself for it. But I want to send them where English and science is taught. I will. So much of education needs to happen. We have people who are, I think, from 17, 18 states, places where people have shifted to get admission, and where we are set up, those people are not ready to give admission or bring their children to the institution. So much of education needs to happen, right? Engaging with villages is not easy. Because village has their own close community of sorts. यहाँ तो हम social media पे हम online मिल जुड़ गए. अभी this session I can't do in the village.
Yeah.
It has to be in person, right? So yeah, it is tough. But as I said, once your principle is fixed, figure out ways, right? Because you are working for recreating the system which has sustained India as the world's, जो सोने की चिड़िया जिसको हम बोलते थे ना, it happened because such systems existed.
So,
When these systems have vanished, we have become a developing country, and we will continue to be a developing country all our life.
Yeah.
Right? India has only India has the potential to become a Vishwaguru. And this Vishwaguru concept is coming in because this understanding of such systems exists in India only. We are having this conversation cannot happen in Europe and America. This whole thing of Bhiksha and Moksha and nothing of this sort can happen as a conversation. It resides in every Indian's heart. I may not be very familiar with the functionalities of this because हमको ऐसा पढ़ाया नहीं गया, हमारा society ऐसा हो गया है. But once you appeal, it will resonate. If it doesn't resonate, we'll work more with people where it is resonating more. धीरे धीरे हमारा भी संख्या बल बढ़ेगा. Then people will see, Vidyakshetra is one institution, right? We want to create 108 such institutions by 2047. And we want to change the entire education setup in India to this type of a setup by 2066. 40-year plan. We believe when we become 108, that will be the critical mass.
Yeah.
After which, it will start multiplying, right?
The numbers will, yeah.
So, is it a slow process? Yeah, it's a slow process. Sometimes we go and talk to people, they'll say, oh, 11 years, 173 students? That is not scale. Our definition of scale is very different, right? What we are attempting to do is we cannot measure ourselves with the, अरे 10 साल में तो 1000 students हो जाने चाहिए थे. That is not the criteria at all. Vidyakshetra will never go beyond 200 students. But Vidyakshetra would want to have 5 lakh such institutions running in this country, right? Each having 200 students, right? ऐसा हमको, that is the, so ये clarity आना, इसके लिए अध्ययन बहुत जरूरी है. ये पहले क्या था, ये dismantle कैसे हुआ? And once it got dismantled, what happened? Why did Rabindranath Tagore's work or Sri Aurobindo's work not become mainstream today? They were great people, right? उनका काम क्यों mainstream नहीं हुआ है? आज भी क्यों हमारा आज का system आज के system के हिसाब से चल रहा है? Something went wrong. Can we learn something from that? Can we do something about it? Yeah, I think that is the effort. And some people need to jump into this. That's why this whole, I think I'll take off into a different debate altogether, but I think that is the whole point. We will need to, it is important that some of us jump into it. We cannot wait for somebody else to do it for us, right? It is important for us to jump into it. If we are vanaprasthis, we definitely should. right? And adhyana is the first part of it, right? Without adhyana, you cannot jump into it because you will not know where you will go wrong, right? You should know where you will go wrong. So that is an important aspect.
Oh, the
I think we will close now. It is almost okay, 7:55 now. We'll close with the Kalyan mantra, and I would encourage all of you to find ways of experiencing Bhiksha. Experience Bhiksha not for yourself, but for an institution. That institution could be Vidyakshetra, it could be anything else also. But engage in doing activities which are equivalent to Bhiksha in your own lives. It will be, I think for some people it has been very, very transformative. For me, it has been very transformative. With that, we'll close for the day. Kalyan mantra se close करेंगे. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. सबको राम राम.